Form A, chapter review. Number 1. In fact, after we looked at this first lesson of the chapter, I said, look at your practice test, see what you see. Then the next 3 terms in the number pattern. 9, 16, 23, 30. And to find the next 3. What is it that we need to look for, first of all? I need to find out what? Willie? Yeah, I mean, how do we get from one term to the next? It's getting larger, so there's a good chance that I'm either multiplying or adding, but not limited to that. Sydney, what do you think? Add 7. Is there a multiplication option? Can I multiply the 9 times anything to get 16? No. So we're pretty much locked in with the plus 7. Do I just go off my first relationship, or what should I do? I should just double check and make sure that that plus 7 is correct. And it looks like it holds up. And the next term, Sydney, should be what? And then 40. And then 51. Okay. Try number 2 on your own. Okay. Gonna look at the pattern. 5 to 13, no multiplication pattern. Must be what, Joe? I think that was 8. 8, 8. Okay. And then, so Joe, the next one.
Wait. 37.
37. And then you make an adjustment. And then?
53.
Good. Don't make mistakes on the easy ones, please. Right? Adding 8. You can't miss those. Cannot miss those. And finally, put a star. Put a smiley face. Put a rainbow. By number 3, write a rule for the number pattern. Okay? Now, there were a couple of parts that we needed to make sure that we included with the rule to make it an official rule. Remember what they were. You remember that there was something special. Calvin. Good. So, we are going to say start with, and I'm going to underline that. What are we starting with in this pattern, Calvin? Okay, start with 6. And what is happening to each of the terms, Calvin? Good. So we're going to start with 6 and multiply by 2, and you said repeatedly. I'm going to underline that repeatedly part as well. Okay, so maybe on your sheets, you do the same thing. Okay, very important. Okay, any questions on 1, 2, or 3? Yes, ma'am. Well, you just have to try to figure what's happening, Maddie. You have to pretty much just take what they give you. Don't ask questions about where's this, where's that, where's the other. You need to take what they give you. So to get from 6 to 12, actually you have a couple of options. You could be multiplying by 2, or you could be doing what? Adding 6. You need to figure out which one it is. 12 plus 6, is it 24? No. So it's not that. So you're multiplying by 2. So 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. So it's just what they give you. You just try to have to find out what they're doing, what pattern. Okay? And before we dive into these, Let's just do a quick review on order of operations. What's the first step, order of operations? Willie. All operations within parentheses first. Now, once you get inside the parentheses, remember you still follow order of operations. So if you have multiplication and addition inside of your parentheses, you're going to make sure that you do the multiplication first. You're still going to follow the steps on the inside. Step 2 is exponents. Step 3 is a tricky step. What is it? Yes. Multiply, divide in order from left to right. Step 4 is very similar. Add, subtract in order from left to right. So if you want to make sure you get those down in your notes, that's great. There they are. There's an opportunity for you. So step 4, number 4 here, 23 plus 6 divided by 2. No parentheses, no exponents. Any multiplication or division there? Division. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 23 plus 3 is 26. Got it? Hands up. Good. What do we do? Add first? Did you add first? Step 5, parentheses. Right here. 3 plus 1. So 5 times 4 times 4. Very good. Got it? Parentheses. Yes, what is it? What about this exponent? It's on the outside of the parentheses, so what that means is whatever we get on the inside, they're going to square it. What is 12 squared? 12 times 12. Equals 148. Got it? Okay. Any questions on 4, 5, or 6?
I thought I was 3 times 3 is 9.
If, Josiah, if it would have been written this way, then you'd square the 3. But it's not. It's on the outside. So that means you're going to do this first. We came up with 12, then we square what that is entirely. Okay, do you see the difference? Okay. Now, try 7, 8, and 9. What they do is they give you the variable, but they also tell you what the variable is. So order of operations, I'd say set it up first, see what you're working with, then attack. Now, it's going to be extremely important for you to just take the extra couple of seconds, couple of minutes maybe, to just substitute in what the problem is going to look like. So they had a 4 parentheses x minus 7. They tell us that x is equal to 10. It's much easier to just put it in and then work with it. Now, I could use distributive property here if I want to, but if I want to follow with order of operations and just take it the safe way, 10 minus 7 is 3. So 4 times the 3, 12. Got it? Good. 3y, or whatever it is, and they say y is equal to 6. What does that mean when it's jammed right up next to it? What operation is that, Joe? So I've got multiplication and addition. I'm going to multiply first. 18 plus 6, 24. Got it? And then whatever the variable is, they square it. They tell us that it's equal to 3, so we plug it in. So 3 squared is equals 10. Okay? All 3 of those, yes?
Yeah.
Question? Because it says 4. Here's what the problem is, right? When you start off, and they tell us that x is equal to what? So where I see x, I'm going to now put a 10. They tell me that x is equal to 10. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 10 minus 7. That's where I get my 3. I'm going to multiply it to the 4. Okay. Did you do this? Did you plug everything in so you know exactly what you're doing, or did you try to do a lot of it in your head? So I'll recommend things. It's a good idea to go with the recommendations. Okay? It's not a contest to see who can do the most in their head. 10, 11, 12. Why not? We're on a roll. Okay. I've got subtraction and I've got this power thing working over here, right? So I have to do that first. Now, 4.2, 4.2, I've got to work through both. I've got to multiply it to itself. Now times 2. So we go ahead, we do the work, drop our 0, 4, 16, right? And 2 decimals, right? Yes, ma'am. It's squared. That means I have to take the 4.2 and multiply 2 of them, basically. Okay? So there's 1. There's my second one. Now, when I subtract, I need to make sure I line up the decimals, right? 4. So we do our subtraction. 4 and 61 hundredths. All right? Very good. So it's because you copied it wrong? This one here. That was just it? Okay. So I'll just put a 0 there just to make things even. 5 minus 0 is the 5. 12 minus 3. 4.95. And then, with multiplication and addition, I'm going to multiply first. What is 2 times 3? 6, which the decimal is 0.6. So 3.4 plus the 6, 10, 4, 4. Okay? Not bad, right? You don't need this still? So not bad. 4 through 12. What are you going to take from 4 through 12? What's going to be really important that you do tomorrow? Well, maybe not tomorrow. We'll see. When we test, write things out.
Oh, yeah.
Use a separate sheet. Take as much room as you need. Okay? 13 through 20, solve each equation. When we think equations, we're usually thinking of an expression that contains at least one variable. And remember what a variable is? Give me an example of a variable, Willie. A, B, Q, Z, W, T, whatever. And most of the time, when I think equation, I want to also be thinking opposite. When I look at number 13, it says that 8 is equal to an x plus a 2. Now you can use mental math for some of this. Can you rearrange that equation so that it looks a little more friendly? Yes. Well, I can't. Let's not do that right this second. Just the way it looks right now, cosmetically, can I change the way it looks? Because some of you might not be as comfortable in this format. Joseph.
So, okay, the equal, okay, yeah, you have to write x plus 2 equals.
Okay. I can do that if I want. I can take what's on one side move it without flipping things around. Okay? As is. Just kind of move them as is. So you can ask yourself the question, what plus 2 is going to give you an 8? 6. Is there a way in which we can use this opposite concept just in case we can't do it in our heads? Sydney? Why would I subtract 2? Because I'm currently adding 2. So the opposite would be to subtract 2. Subtract 2 from there, I'm left with just x on that side. Subtract 2 from the 8, I'm left with 6. How do I know for sure 6 is going to be my solution? Plug it in. 6 plus 2, does it equal 8? Yes, it does. Okay? So you want to make sure we take care of opposites there. How about 14? 18n is equal to 108. Now, in order to do the opposite, we need to identify, first of all, what's happening. My variable is n. What's happening to n? Maddie, it's being multiplied by 18. The opposite of multiplying by 18 is going to be what? Divide by 18. And we're going to do that to both sides. What is 18 divided by 18? 1. 1n is just like saying n. 108 divided by 18, if I don't know, I'll set it up. Here's a clue. I need to multiply 18 by something where I'm going to end up with an 8.
Yeah.
Right? So 8 times 6 is 48, and 108, n equals 6. Using that little trick can save you a little bit of time. Okay? Do 15 and 16. You got 15? 9 plus what will give me 13? Absolutely. Very good. If I wanted to get technical with it, what would I do to both sides? Subtract 9, right? Make sure to subtract 9. Would still give me 4. Double check, 9 plus 4, 13. Yes? Sure. Huh? Well, let's take a look at what's happening first, okay? What's the opposite of dividing by 3? Multiply by 3. So 30 times 3 is 9. Double check. 90 divided by 3 is 30. Don't just look at the 30 and the 3 and say 10. Please don't. Okay? Please don't do that. And you should know if you take the extra time to plug it back in. There's no way you would ever say 10 divided by 3 is 30. You would never say that. It doesn't make any sense. Okay? So don't make that mistake, especially on a test, especially when it counts for real. Here's what we're going to do. For your homework assignment, because we're not going to finish this review today. For your homework assignment, you're going to finish off the test. Yeah, the back two. I used to assign the whole thing, Brandon. We did, 16 of them together. So I used to assign the whole thing. So you need to finish it. Use a pencil in case you have to do some erasing because maybe you made a couple of boo-boos. Not doo-doos, boo-boos. All right? It'll be a completion assignment. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to help you until tomorrow. It's just you and the test. Mano y mano. Good. Word phrases. Yeah. So that's where you would say a number A plus 23. There was a whole chart in your book. What is that? Don't tell me you're working on social studies during math. Is this a math book?
Yes.
Can I see it? So Willie, that was from 2-3. So for numbers 21 and 22 at the bottom of the page, you see that? Maybe you want to put page 74 down as a reference. Because if you just put page 74, that's a reference to give you a nice little chart there with some word phrase ideas. Okay? So your assignment, finish, test A, the redo. Don't forget to use the distributed property since it is a distributed property section. Okay?